Sitting in my office at the prosecutor's office, surrounded by piles of documents that could topple the government, I find myself fixated on one particular folder. Marked simply as Conversation 25 Export Buck 1652.csv, it holds a story that has haunted my nights for months. Every time I open this file, a knot tightens in my stomach, for this is no ordinary criminal organization. It's a network that runs deeper than we ever imagined. The date is June 11th, 2020. Time, 16:26:05 UTC. A message from user ID 88JOLM arrives in a chat titled 88JOLM H3Q9MD. At first glance, it seems like a casual conversation between friends. But when you know the codes, when you understand the street language, every word becomes a piece of a mosaic, revealing an international drug trafficking network. It's Angelo from Jakovica, writes 88JOLM at 16:26:05, a simple sentence that might go unnoticed. But minutes later, at 16:26:27, an explanation arrives that reveals the true nature of this Angelo. Actually, his real name is Fazlia, but everyone knows him as Angelo. Fazlia, a name that has appeared in our files for years. A man from Jakovica who managed to build a bridge between Balkan criminal groups and South American cartels. But this is the first time we have direct insight into how his network operates. As I read further through the messages, the atmosphere grows darker. At 17:02, 88JOLM reveals a connection that explains many unsolved cases. He hung out with Deki, the karate guy who was killed in Colombia. Deki, the karate guy, another name from our files. A man who went to Colombia to establish direct connections with the cartels, but never returned. Now we know why. Deki with those Colombians, continues 88JOLM at 17:03:32. Then they argued he didn't have money or something. Money. It always comes down to money. But here, we're talking about sums that surpass anything we've seen in our investigations. When dealing with Colombian cartels, every debt is paid in blood. The messages continue to reveal layers of this organization. At 17:04:09, 88JOLM talks about Deki's habits. And he loved programs and snorting. Programs. Another code we've learned to recognize. It's not about TV shows, it's about drugs, about programs that alter consciousness and bring in millions of dollars in profit. But what disturbs me the most is the message that arrives at 17:06:01. Get me organized here where you are to get some original key A. At first glance, this seems like an incomprehensible message. But when you know the jargon, when you understand the codes, this message becomes an order for pure Colombian drugs. Original Kia, that's their code for the highest quality product, straight from Colombia, without any additives. Minutes later at 17:06:14, a follow-up arrives. To cut me a little. Cut. It's not about cutting paper or fabric. It's about dividing drugs, preparing them for distribution. Every word in these messages has its meaning. Every code hides a part of a larger picture. As I continue to read through the messages, it becomes clear that this is a sophisticated network using the most advanced technologies for communication, but also the oldest methods of encryption, jargon, codes, metaphors. At 17:08:28, 88JOLM jokes, "So I don't snort garbage, haha." But behind that joke lies a serious concern for product quality. In this business, a bad product doesn't just mean dissatisfied customers. It means a life-threatening danger. The messages also reveal internal tensions within the organization. At 17:11:5, 88JOLM complains, "And you're making artificial fuss that I talked to someone and that they wrote to you how you got stressed and you only sent me pictures." Paranoia. Fear of betrayal. These are constant companions in this world. Everyone suspects everyone. Every message could be the last. But perhaps the most interesting part of this conversation comes at 17:13. S3101, when 88JOLM explains how he lost contact with Fazlia. Since he went to war with Laza, I don't know where he is or what he's doing. Until then, he would call, then change Sky, and I have no contact. Sky app, their main communication channel. But even in this seemingly secure environment, conflicts and wars change the organization's dynamics. Laza, another name that appears in our investigations. A man who managed to start a war within the organization, leading to a break in communication and changes in hierarchy. These internal conflicts are often our greatest opportunity to penetrate the organization's structure. As I close this folder, I am aware that what I have read represents just the tip of the iceberg. Every message, every code, every name reveals a part of a larger picture. Fazlia, from Jakovica, known as Angelo. Deki, the karate guy, killed in Colombia. Laza, who started a war within the organization. 88JOLM, trying to navigate through this dangerous world. This is not just a story about drug trafficking. This is a story about people who chose to live on the edge, where every mistake can be the last. A story about codes and ciphers, about trust and betrayal, about money and blood. A story that continues every day, in every message, in every folder that arrives on my desk. Tomorrow I will open a new folder. It might be labeled Conversation 20 or Conversation 0. It might reveal new codes, new names, new connections. But one thing is certain. The story continues, and I will be there to tell it. Because sometimes there has to be someone who will tell the truth, even when that truth can cost a life.